You slide out of your mother, somewhere in the mountains of Central Asia, and your legs are already moving before you fully hit the ground. The herd shifts around you as you find your footing on the rock, with your legs shaking under your weight but holding. Your mother turns and pushes her head against your side, moving you forward, and you take your first few steps with the rest of the herd already walking ahead. The path follows a narrow ledge that drops away on one side, and you stay as close to your mother's flank as you can while your legs figure out the rhythm. Then one of your front hooves catches a loose stone, sending it over the edge, and your whole body tilts sideways before you catch yourself against your mother's leg. She doesn't stop, so you push back upright and keep moving. Then a shadow sweeps across the ledge. A golden eagle is circling above the herd with its wings pulled tight, dropping lower with each pass. The adults around you pull closer together, so you press into the middle of the group where you can. The eagle drops fast and strikes, its talons catching the air just above your back. But a large female from the herd shoulders into it from the side before it can grip anything, sending it wide. It lifts off and circles once more, then rises higher and moves away along the ridge. The herd keeps walking, and you follow with your legs steadier now than they were a few minutes ago. By the time the ledge opens onto wider ground, you've stopped stumbling. But the mountain doesn't flatten out for long, and the paths ahead are steeper than anything you've crossed today. You're 3 weeks old now, and the herd has settled on a high plateau where the ground is flat enough to move around freely. You've been staying close to your mother, but today you want to explore, so you start walking away from her in short stretches, testing how far you can go before she pulls you back. You find a flat section of rock with a white crust running across it and press your mouth to it. It's a mineral lick, the same one the adults keep returning to, and now you understand why. You scrape your tongue across the surface and pull back, then go in again, working at the crust until your jaw gets tired. Then a young male calf from the herd walks toward you with his head low, trying to push you off the rock. You dig your hooves in and push back into his chest, and the two of you shove against each other with your legs working hard to hold position. He's roughly your size, so neither of you goes anywhere quickly. But you keep your weight forward and drive your shoulder into him until his back legs slip sideways, and he steps away from the lick. That's the first time you've held your ground against another Takin, and it works. After a while, you move further along the plateau, stepping between rocks and climbing up a ledge that the adults ignore. You get to the top and look back, but your mother is further away than you realized, so you pick your way back down across ground you haven't crossed before, choosing each step carefully with your hooves, testing the rock before your weight follows. By the time you reach her, your legs are steadier than they've ever been. But the herd won't stay on this plateau much longer, and the paths leading down the mountain are nothing like this. You're 4 months old now, and the herd is moving down the mountain through thick bamboo forest to follow the vegetation lower on the slope. The ground here is completely different from anything you've crossed before, with roots cutting across the path and the soil giving way under your hooves instead of holding firm. You keep pace with the adults, but your legs aren't used to this yet. Then the path drops steeply, and your front hooves lose contact with the ground, sending your whole body sliding down the slope with your legs scrambling to find something solid. You hit a ledge below and stop, but the herd is still moving above you and the drop is too steep to climb back up quickly. That's when a wolf appears from between the trees, moving low and steady with its eyes fixed on you. You press your back against the rock face and stay still. The wolf circles wide, trying to find an angle, but you turn with it so your body stays facing forward. It moves in closer, then stops. For a moment, neither of you moves. Then your mother crashes down through the bamboo above, landing between you and the wolf with her head already low. She holds her position with her horns pointed forward, and the wolf takes one step back, then another, and then turns and walks back into the trees. That's the first time you've watched another animal back down from a Takin, and it won't be the last. Your mother holds still until the wolf is gone, then turns and waits for you to climb back up to her. You find a line up the rock and push yourself back onto the path, and the herd closes around you again as it keeps moving. You've made it through the forest today, but the wolf left on its own terms, and it already knows where the herd is going. You're 1 year old now, and the short stubs pushing out from your forehead are thick enough to feel when you press them against a rock. Your horns are growing in, and you've already started using them, dragging them across low branches and pushing them into the ground to test how much force they can take. The herd is grazing on a steep slope when you spot a patch of fresh growth slightly above the main group. You need to eat, so you climb up to it and start grazing with your hooves planted wide to hold your position on the angle. Then a juvenile male from the herd climbs up behind you and walks straight into your space with his head low, trying to push you off the patch. A few months ago you might have moved, but you're bigger now, so you turn and lock foreheads with him, with both of you pushing hard against each other across the slope. He's got more experience, but you've got the better footing, so you drive your weight into him until his back legs slide and he drops back down to the main group. Then the slope above the herd starts moving. A section of rock and loose ground breaks free higher up the mountain and pours down toward where the herd is grazing. So every Takin on the slope pushes sideways across the face of the mountain to get clear. You go with them, moving fast with your hooves hitting the ground in short, quick steps. But a rock rolling ahead of the slide clips your back leg and knocks you sideways, sending you stumbling down several meters before you catch a ledge with your front hooves and pull yourself to a stop. You get your legs back under you and climb across to where the herd has gathered on the far side. Your horns are still short, but they're long enough to use now, and every Takin on this mountain is going to find that out eventually. You're 2 years old now, and the rut has started across the plateau. Dominant males are moving through the herd with their heads low and their bodies angled sideways, cutting off other males and driving them back. You've been watching it for 2 days from the edge of the group, and something in your body pulls you toward it. So you walk toward one of the dominant males with your head low and your horns pointed forward, trying to hold the same posture you've seen him use. He turns to face you before you get close, with his full weight already shifting forward, and charges before you've even planted your feet. The hit lands square in your chest and sends you sliding backward across the rock with your legs scrambling to stop the movement. You get back up and take a few steps forward, trying to hold your ground, but he's already turned away, so you back off. Then you do something that ends up being more useful. You stay at the edge of the rut and watch. You watch how the dominant males lower their heads just before a charge, how they use the slope of the ground to push uphill into a rival so the rival has nowhere to go, and how they hold their position after a win by staying between the rival and the females. You watch 3 separate fights play out from start to finish, and by the time the rut slows down, you've tracked every move without taking another hit. You haven't won anything this season, but you're heavier than you were a month ago, and your horns have grown out another few centimeters since the rut began. The males you watch this year won't be any bigger next season, but you will be. Skip forward a bit, and you're 3 years old now. You've split from the main herd and found a mineral spring lower on the mountain, a muddy pool where the ground stays wet and the minerals seep up through the soil. You need it, so you roll in it, pressing your body into the mud and coating your fur from your shoulders down to your legs. Your skin produces an oily secretion that mixes with the mud as it dries, building up into a layer that acts like a waterproof coat. Every Takin does this, and now you do it too. Other Takins have been using this spring, so you position yourself at the only path leading to it and turn back the ones that try to come through. Most of them read your body and go around. But then a larger male walks up the path with his head low and his pace steady, trying to push past you without stopping. You hold your position and drop your own head, with your horns pointing forward and your weight already loaded into your front legs. He doesn't slow down, so you crash into him first, driving your horns into his shoulder and pushing him sideways off the path. He pulls back, squares up again, and the two of you go chest to chest across the ground beside the path with your legs grinding for grip. But you're fighting uphill and he's fighting down, so his footing keeps slipping, and after one hard drive forward from you, his back legs give way and he steps off the edge of the path. He looks at you for a moment, then turns and walks back down the mountain. That's the first time you've held a resource on your own terms. The spring is yours now, and the rut is still a season away. When it comes, you'll go into it with a body that's been fed and rested and ready. You're 4 years old now, and the rut has come back around. This time you move through the herd differently, with your head low and your body angled sideways across the path of every male that tries to get near the females you've been following. Most of them read your size and go around, but one male of similar build walks straight toward you with his head already dropping, so you drop yours too, and the two of you close the gap fast. The first hit is clean and hard, with both sets of horns locking together and your legs driving into the ground to hold position. He pushes you back 2 steps, so you dig in and push forward, grinding across the rock with your bodies tight against each other. Then he pulls back and swings wide, trying to come at your side, but you turn with him and catch his horns before he can straighten up, making him lose the angle he was going for. He tries again, this time driving straight forward and low, and the impact knocks your front legs up off the ground for a moment. But you come back down with your full weight behind you and drive forward up the slope, using the angle the way you watched the dominant males use it 2 seasons ago, so his back legs have nowhere to go and he starts sliding. You keep pushing until he breaks contact and steps back, with his head coming up and his body turning away. You hold the ground and watch him go. Then you turn back to the females and circle wide around them with your head low and your pace steady, keeping your movement slow enough that none of them pull away. One female slows her steps and lets you close the gap, and you move to her side and climb on with your front legs behind her shoulders. It lasts a few seconds. Then she walks forward and you step back. You've done everything this mountain asked of you, but the mountain isn't finished yet. You're 9 years old now, and you move along the high ridge ahead of the herd the same way you have for years, with your hooves finding the path before the others follow. Your shoulder carries a slight lean from an old injury, but your legs are still sure and your pace is still steady. You've crossed this ridge more times than any other Takin in the group, so when the herd needs to move higher, you go first. The path flattens out across a wide section of rock just below the peak, and you step out onto it with your weight spread evenly across all 4 hooves. Above you, a thick shelf of snow sits along the top of the ridge where it has been building for several days, pressing out further over the edge with its own weight. You've crossed under sections like this before and nothing has happened, so you keep walking forward with your head low and your eyes on the path ahead. Then the shelf breaks. The whole section releases at once, dropping straight down onto the ridge with a wall of snow and ice behind it that hits the rock and spreads outward across the full width of the path. You try to turn, but the first wave catches your back legs and pulls them out from under you, so your body goes sideways and your hooves lose contact with the ground entirely. The force carries you across the ridge and over the edge before you can find anything to push against, and then there's nothing under you at all. Below the ridge, the herd stops moving. They stand with their heads up and their bodies still, looking toward the place where you disappeared. Then, after a long moment, the Takin at the front of the group picks a line along the lower slope and the rest of them follow.